race is on. That beautiful blue boat over there is Aaron, a fun guy that we have met here a couple of days ago, actually on another island, but here as well. And we have decided to join forces and sail together to El Hierro. That is the westernmost and southernmost island of the Canaries, hence the southernmost and westernmost piece of soil of Europe, and we're going to the westernmost and southernmost anchorage thereon, so to the edges of Europe. It's just before sunset, so we're starting in the evening because we expect this to take about 18 hours, and we want to arrive nicely during daylight so that we can anchor nicely. There is a little wind forecasted. We have a forecast between, I think, 5 and 15. We'll have to steer south a bit so that we get clear of the wind shadow of La Gomera, but except for that I think it's going to be a smooth sail. Plus tonight there is supposedly a meteor shower, so we are hoping that we can see some nice shooting stars, so pretty good. Our competition has already given up. You can see Aaron there in the distance. He's bearing off. That's the wrong way, although Kira seems to be following him. Why?
Just a bit more straight out of the shadow.
A bit straight out of the wind shadow?
Yes.
Yep, that sounds good. Yep. Ah, Aaron is already lifting his main. Well, good for him. We're gonna motor a bit more. Awesome. So as you know, our current goal is still to sail a bit around the Canary Islands to test ourselves and the boat, kind of do another shakedown cruise. And we are, I don't know, halfway through this, and I can already smell the West African sailing adventures that are coming up soon. But before we do that, we're going to sail to El Hierro. Super cool island, supposedly. We'll be in an anchorage with no light pollution, so in the right position to see the shooting stars. And yeah, let's enjoy this beautiful night sail. Good morning, folks. Well, we left Los Cristianos at around 7, picked up the sails at around 8, and then sailed through the night, mostly with around between 4 and 5 knots of boat speed in different sail conditions. But now I'm sitting here and we have no sails up. There is nothing up there. And from the limpness of the flags, you can see there's also no wind. So we are becalmed. We are experiencing the whole array of wind possibilities here in the Canary Islands. We've had 30 knots, 32 knots I think max, and now we have absolutely no wind, so it's interesting to sail around these islands. The wind conditions are really variable and you learn a lot. So what to do? The answer lies therein, in this brown bag. That is our blister, our light wind sail. It's a very small light wind sail for this boat, but it's a light wind sail nevertheless, and we are going to hoist it to at least make some knots from this maybe, I don't know, 2 knots of wind that I'm feeling on my face right now. Behind me now you can see a classic trade wind style sail setup for this boat. On the right hand side, on starboard, we have the Genoa with a boom. So it's boomed out so that it doesn't drop too much and it just sticks there. On the port side we have our beautiful blister, our light wind sail. We could boom that out as well if we wish so. It would probably make sense right now, but we're having breakfast first, so this is good. We have a whopping 5 knots of wind in the gusts, so we're not dealing with much here, but we are making a staggering 2.0 knots boat speed. Well, it's something. But we might have to adapt our plans, because the initial plan was to arrive in El Hierro early afternoon, and it's 12 o'clock and we can barely see it in the distance, and at this speed this will take us another day, so not gonna happen.
Okay, so that's now one of the beautiful parts of sailing too. We have a very little wind still, around 5 knots. We have like the light wind sail up, and we're just going easy peasy, 3.5 knots. There's some swell from behind. Yeah, Robert is having a nap. I'm doing some bracelets, listening to some music, look out on the ocean. We have El Hierro in sight now. With that speed, it will still take 10 hours until we get there. Sailing can be so slow, but it's beautiful like that. We are gonna have another night out, because we also don't want to arrive in the dark at the anchorage, so we take it super easy. Have another night with like a no moon and a lot of stars, and it's even a meteor shower going on those days, so that's gonna be super beautiful. Last night we also had a lot of bioluminescence, so like every time the boat made the little wave on the side, we had like the sparkles around. It was really beautiful. We hope the sea stays calm like that, and then that's going to be very peaceful. We have no hurry at all, and we'll make it to El Hierro, to the anchorage we planned.
Hello! What a relaxing day. We have been slowly trundling along at about 2 to 3 knots with just a blister out. But the sea was very calm, so it was very pleasant. Very relaxed sail for once. Just read a bit, hung out, ate a bit, slept a bit. Very pleasant. Now it's evening. You can see the sun just going down there next to the sail. And there the shadow, that's El Hierro, that's where we're going. We now have only the jib out, because we don't want to arrive at night. We want to arrive during daylight. Of that we have about 10 minutes more, so we're not going to make that, which means we have reduced our speed by taking down the blister and rolling out the jib to a comfortable 1.5 knots or so, and are just slowly sailing the rest of the way. We're going to do watches, and the other person can comfortably sleep, and then we'll arrive there in the morning with dawn.
Yeah.
Good morning, people. It's just before sunrise, and we have sailed now for 36 hours or so. Now it is Wednesday morning and we have arrived. This is the beautiful island of El Hierro in its glorious morning sun.
Robert is preparing our anchor because our anchorage is right ahead. We still have half a nautical mile to go, and Aaron is just anchoring his boat, so we let him set the anchor and then we will probably anchor pretty much next to him. It's a tiny anchorage. Well, it's a huge coastline, but there is a tiny spot with sand, and that's where we want to anchor. So we are at the anchorage, not yet anchored. Robert took down the dinghy and he's now driving around looking where the ground is good, where it is sandy ground, because there's just like little patches, they say, where the ground is sand. We want sand to anchor. So he's cruising around there. Aaron and I are looking after the boats and just waiting here until we get a report about the ground.
Okay, that was a little bit of action that was unexpected. We are having stronger winds than expected. So yeah, you saw us before driving in with nil wind to a beautiful dawn to this volcanic island. The anchorage is really short, so really close to shore. The distance is really small because it's very steep. This means we can't go out, but I'll go there and then I'll talk more because you can't. Alright, I will keep myself because you probably didn't get any of that because of the wind. You saw us coming in with no wind and anchoring in this beautiful anchorage, but we had to re-anchor. What happened is that we've done it properly. I went out in the dinghy and I dove on the anchorage first to see where is sand and where stones, because we didn't know. We had some reports that there is sand in front of this hut, but we didn't know where. So I had a look. There was lots of sand, a good sand patch. We drove there, we anchored. We set the anchor with 3000 RPMs. We had 45 meters of chain out in almost, how much water? In between 9 and 10 meters of water. So a good scope. We had our bridle set. We had brunch. Aaron came aboard, we had brunch because we had just sailed for 2 days and needed to rest a bit. Then the winds first, they gust from west with 25 knots, and we're like, this wasn't forecasted. If it was forecasted, there would be 10 knots from the east, but we're having 25 knots from the west, which is okay because that's the direction we already set the anchor in. Then it goes Canary style and the winds change direction 180 degrees, and now we're having gusts of 30 knots from the east. So we do a 180 on the anchor chain, no problem. We have a good resetting anchor, that should work. And suddenly Kira says, wait, are we dragging? Do you hear that? And I'm like, oh, that's not good, let's check. Walk to the front and see that our anchor buoy has wrapped in our anchor bridle. So when the 180 wind shift happened, we drifted over our anchor buoy, and our bridle that is underwater snatched the anchor buoy. The anchor buoy is attached on the roll bar of the anchor, so the effect is if we pull on the anchor buoy rope, it pulls out the anchor in reverse. So it's a safety system, but you can get an anchor back up that is badly stuck. But now it worked against us because it pulled our anchor out and it was entangled in the bridle. So the short distance of the, I think maybe 4 or 5 meters bridle plus 15 meters of anchor buoy then dragged the anchor backwards, and we were simply drifting to shore. And you see, the shore is really close and we were almost on the rocks, so we had to scramble to kick the engine on, open the water and the diesel again because we had to close that, turned the engine on, ran to the front, but we couldn't get the anchor up because it's wrapped around the anchor buoy. So Aaron dives in, unwraps the anchor buoy, we get the anchor up completely because it has completely been dug out of the water. Aaron checked it, it's completely out of the sand. So we get the anchor out completely, drive out and reset the anchor again, and now we are holding again in almost the same spots, 9.5 meters of depth, 45 meters of chain out. But this time we're pointing west, so the wind is coming from the east, it's gusting to 30. Right now it's probably around 15. But because this island is so steep and we're really close, it creates these strong katabatic winds where you get this acceleration effect of the wind that's going parallel to this island, to the shore. We'll see how this works out. We're really tired after a long day sailing, after 2 long days sailing, and we wanted to sleep a bit and rest a bit, but now we already had the action, the adrenaline of having dragged and having to reset the anchor, so I'm not sure if that's so restful here, so we'll stay here for a while more. We'll have an eye on the anchor, we'll be very watchful and see if on the evening the wind dissipates. If it does, fine, we'll stay. Whoop. This is not scripted, this is the anchor alarm. Okay. Now I have added 5 meters to our drift radius to see if it goes up again. If it goes up again, we are drifting, and then we need to reset, and then we'll probably leave. Because dragging that anchor twice in the same spot is not a good spot. But so far, status quo is we'll stay put. We'll see if this dissipates in the evening. If yes, we'll sleep tonight and explore the island tomorrow. But yeah, that was some unexpected action. It's sailing. Everything takes 5 times longer, and also it's really boring until it gets really exciting in a very short time. See you later.